obviously Dan had made a statement about even though we lost this game, there were a number of positives that came out of it, and I do agree with him. The one thing I talked to the defense about right after that game was, man, there were a number of barriers that we've been trying to knock down throughout this year. The first barrier was trying to get a win on the road, and we did that. The second one was getting back-to-back wins, and we did that. We knocked that one down. And then the third one was trying to get 3 wins in a row, and we did that. Here's the next barrier that we have to get ready to pass. Is can we come back off an L, right, and be the same team we were, right, when we was on that win streak. Like, that's the next thing that we got to prove that we can do. And I know that's a team deal, but defensively, can we be that same defense that was being on the field and stopping people in crucial situations? And that's going to be a huge test for us. And the guys are really looking forward to that, because that is a barrier that we have to be able to break. And I'm looking forward to it, because that tells you a huge sign of who we are and how far we've come and the improvement that we've made as a team. So practice yesterday was really spirited, because they believe in that, they understand that, and they want to show the world that, listen, there's not too many 72 Dolphins running around this league anymore where you can go undefeated, right? But there are teams that can take an L and come right back and be the same team they were when they were on the win streak. So that's what we're trying to prove.
From Trevor Lawrence the last 3 weeks, it looks like he's playing much better ball. 3 straight games of 100-plus passer rating,
Yep.
6 touchdowns and interceptions. Just what you've seen from him in the last 3 weeks, especially.
I'll tell you this, he's been doing a really good job getting the ball out of his hands, understanding exactly what the coverage is, and they do a good job schematically of forcing you to show your hand for the most part. And he knows exactly where to go with the ball. And I'll tell you what, the skill players that they have, they do a good job of not only getting open, but just running with the ball after they receive the ball, because there's so many of these shorter passes that he's getting out, then every now and then you see him try to throw a shot on you. So, man, we have to do a really good job of tackling. We have to do a really good job of getting this guy's face and try to take away his first target and make him try to progress throughout the route concept and try to get to his second and third options.
When you say they're good at making you show your hand, is that through pre-snap stuff, motion?
Yeah,
and such?
pre-snap, motions, condensed splits, like all those things. They do a good job of that. And that goes to the offense coordinator and Peterson of what they've been doing.
How does James Houston build off of what he accomplished in his first?
Keep learning. Keep learning. The thing is, we know that he's a good passer. There's a lot of other things that go into it to be a good football player. Here's the deal, man. And I know you guys are putting him out to be the next Lawrence Taylor. I got it. But man, this player has skill, right? He still has a ways to go, and we're gonna make sure we protect him from himself and from all everybody out there just trying to do all the hype right now. And that's our job, is to make sure we give him the best chance to be the best football player he can be, and that's what we're gonna do.
Through this recent stretch, I guess it's kind of a reminder of the evolution of the league and things always changing. Mobile quarterback, mobile quarterback,
Yeah.
mobile quarterback. We got another one this week.
Yeah.
As you've kind of evolved on your philosophy of defense over the years, and maybe even just this year, what changes have you seen defenses make to maybe contain these guys in the pocket?
You know what? And I told our guys this. It's because you hear all this talk about all these different mobile quarterbacks, but if you just come in with the same mindset of, man, condensing the pocket, pushing the pocket, that takes care of a lot of that stuff. For the most part, you still have guys trying to run around the edge because they think this is just a speed league, just running around the edge. When for the most part, that's the easiest block in the world for a tackle, to be able to do that, because all they're going to do is just run you right past the quarterback. That to be able to play with power first, and when you talk about the evolution, play with power first and then allow speed to help you in that situation. So if you can condense that pocket, that takes away a lot of the running of the quarterback, but you also got to push it also. And our guys are trying to do a good job of that, and they're trying to understand that, because everybody comes from the background of, I have to run around the edge. And that's one thing we're trying to help with Houston in that situation. And he's understanding that, because when you saw his second sack, that's exactly what he did, right? And then he get off him to make tackle.
How hard are these receivers? It seems like they have guys that are like different at doing something like Zay Jones is a little more physical, and you got Marvin making plays like last week and Agnew. But how tough are those receivers?
The thing is, they have different types of receivers, right? They went and got Kirk, who's more of the shifty, quick twitch slot receiver. Then you have Marvin Jones, who does a really good job catching the 50-50 ball. And then you have the shot with Zay Jones. So, man, they have a track team out there, and that not to go with the tight ends with Ingram, who's a former receiver. Then I was with Dan Arnold in New Orleans, who's a receiving tight end. So they have a ton of weapons. And the thing is, we have to be ready to match them because there's going to be some man-to-man situations in this game, but also some zone. So we just got to bone up, right, and win our one-on-ones.
Just to get back to what you said earlier about the importance of being yourselves again, I guess, right? Like after why do you think that has, you had the defensive performance after the tough loss in Minnesota, and last year there were some of the real crunch time losses that you had, maybe
Say it one more time.
Some of the big losses that you had last year, right?
Yeah.
The week after, maybe those were some of your worst performances, I guess, as a team. Why has that not been there, and what is different about
It
this
is a
group?
growing team. Again, I think you guys think that we should be in the Super Bowl. Worried all these new players. I was just talking to our staff. When you look at it, we had two mainstays this year, to be honest with you. That was Alex and Aleem. We basically had a whole new team, right? You had Hutch on the edge. You had Pascal on the edge. You had Bugs on the inside. On the linebackers, you had Rodrigo in the back end. Hefe was really a new player for us, right? You have Mike Hughes. You have Will now, who's playing the nickel for us. Then you have two new safeties. So, man, trying to get that continuity is tough. But that's the way of the league now. So we got to do a good job of teaching and making sure our guys understand schematically. So I guess to answer your question, man, it's trying to continue to, get our guys to understand that. Because when you get a new group of guys, man, there's an understanding that comes with that also. And that's what we're trying to create now.
Is there something about their makeup or the growth that they've shown that this unit is more resilient maybe than it was
I would
earlier?
say that. I think the way that we played the last three games, the 3-game winning streak, it shows that because we won games when we were on the field, and that's growth off our young group. So I would agree with you on that.
You mentioned Alex. Just how important has he been as one of the mainstays to kind of keep all that together? He's got the green dot, obviously, knows your system. Just how important has he been to that whole?
Alex is a common storm out there for the guys, and they really, really trust him. He's going to get you in the right call. There are opportunities where he has to make a call. When you do these hurry-up offense, for the most part, I can get him a call, but there are some times we have to make a call, and there's a call that we have that everyone knows, but he does a really good job of relaying it to everybody. So, and like I said, they really trust him, right? He's a really good leader, and people lead different ways, right? He's not the one that's going to give you the rah-rah speech and anything like that, but the way he comes to work every day, the way he operates in the middle of the huddle with those men, they really can look him in his eye and know that he's one of them, right? And that's the most important part that Alex brings to the table.
You guys benched Deshaun at one point earlier this season. Wasn't long before he was back in the lineup, and kind of coincided with some schematic changes that he really liked. How have you seen him, I guess, rebound from that challenge, and what do you like about what he's doing right now?
Well, I will say this, and that's any guy on this defense. You guys heard me say this before. Man, you got to earn your keep. And this is not a team to where you just play. This is not Pop Warner football. So, he wasn't doing the things that we needed him to do early on, and we had to make a change. And he came back, and he understand those changes, and he worked on those things that he had to work on, and he's gotten a lot better. I'll tell you what, the communication with him and Kirby last week was outstanding, and that was the one things that we really need to grow on. And that was one thing that we've worked on quite a bit, right, in this last 4 weeks of getting those guys on the same page and make sure you get that communication out. And, man, everybody has to be on the same page. Everybody's connected. And he's done a good job of that in the last couple of weeks. So he's been doing the things that we need him to do. He's making a lot of tackles. Kirby's doing a really good job making plays on the ball. And in this system, it's meant for the safety to make plays.